So there I was, walking back into the gymnasium, my elementary school gymnasium. Except this time there was no dodgeballs flying at my head. Instead, the floor was full of tables. And on top of those tables were baseball cards and gaming cards. Well, mostly gaming cards. But walking back in there brought back some awesome memories and some not so awesome memories as well. And in this video, I want to share with you some of those stories and the baseball cards that I picked up. So let's get to it. So the gymnasium I'm talking about, like I said, was my old elementary school gymnasium. And it's here in a small community called Ferguson, just right outside of Somerset, where I work and abide. And it's probably about a mile and a half from the house. And Ferguson, back in the day, back around the turn of the century, last century, it was a railroad community. And the high school was built for the growing community of railroad folks in the area. And my father graduated from there, from the high school, and my grandfather graduated from there as well, which is pretty cool. And here's a picture of my grandfather, his graduating picture. But anyway, so I walk up the back steps of this old gymnasium. It's an old bowstring, with a curved roof on the top. And walking up the steps, I can't tell you how many times I walked up those old steps going in the back. The front is all kind of arched and ornate with bigger steps, but we always, when we got off the bus, we would go up the back steps. Back then, you didn't go straight to your homeroom. You went to the gymnasium, and that's where you were called to class. And we would goof off on those steps. But walking in that back door, you could just smell, I don't know, it just has a different smell to it. The old paint's still there. The old wood floor has been redone several times, but it's still the old, I think, original floor. And at the time, it was like the second biggest auditorium in our district, the first being Center College in Danville. So that was pretty remarkable for the time. Like I said, it was built in 1910. I think I said that. But anyway, so you walk in there. Man, I had such great times. Mr. Cowan's PE class, recess, I guess is what they called it then. We would go in the gym in the winter months and we would play dodgeball. And man, the best times of my life were playing dodgeball. Just throwing those old orange, rubbery, kind of reddish, I guess, balls back and forth. And you could hear them hit against the brick walls on both sides underneath the goals. Pow, 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 and dodging left and right. Man, I couldn't wait for recess every day. We had so much fun. But the worst time of my life was in that gymnasium. See, we would go up those back steps and we would congregate in the gymnasium. It's not like today, kids get off the bus and they go straight to their classroom. Back then, we went to the gymnasium and the teachers come and got us, lined us up by class, and we marched off to the big part of the school, which was another building on the other side of the gymnasium. So we were sitting there, me and my buddies, and we were waiting for the teacher to come get us and all the buses to show up and all the kids to get there before we marched off to class. And we were just running, having a good time, which was against the law or against the rules back then. And they had a couple of teachers there monitoring, but we would get down to one side of the bleachers and we would run and see how far we could slide on those old wooden bleachers. Well, here's those bleachers. They have been redone several times. Well, back then they were in a real ill state of repair. And I went off running down by the bleachers and landed on my bottom and slid across those bleachers. Well, guess what? There was a piece of jagged wood sticking up on one of those bleachers, and it gave me a splinter like you wouldn't believe. I'm talking that big. Broke off in my behind. First thing of the morning. Did it hurt? I limped around school all day, back and forth, just limping around. We didn't change classes a lot, but we had to go to lunch. We did have PE, I think recess that day. Of course, this was like in the third grade, so we didn't play dodgeball. Dodgeball was later on with the bigger kids, like 6th and 7th graders. But third grade, you went outside and played at recess. Well, I limped around all day, going to lunch, going out to recess. Finally, the bus came, picked us up, took us home. I get home, limping around, and finally somebody's like, "What is the matter with you?" I kept saying nothing, 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 because I was embarrassed. I knew what was coming because I couldn't see it. I couldn't reach it. So finally, my mom asked, "Hey, what's wrong with you?" Finally, I had to tell him. So when my dad got home from work, just not long after that, I had to drop my pants. Of course, they had to get the tweezers and stuff and pull that thing out of my rear end. Oh boy, that was not a good time. That was one of my bad memories, really, of that school. Really, well, my second worst memory. Not my first worst memory. My second worst memory. Me and my friends they had on not in the gymnasium but in the classroom side. They had steps going up to the second, third floors. That old building's been tore down now. It's been gone for several years, but the gym is still there. And me and my friends would dare each other to do stuff on those steps. So one guy's like, "Hey, I dare you to go up the outside of the hand railing," because you had a hand railing going up. Well, the steps stuck out probably that far on the other side of the hand railing. And it's like, one of my buddies was like, "How far can you climb up that hand railing on the outside of the steps?" I was like, "Oh, watch me." You know how kids do. And when it started going up the hand railing, I got, I don't know, 5 or 6 steps up, hanging onto the hand railing, going up. The principal come by. And I remember it to this day. He reached up and he grabbed me by the top of my head. I ain't lying. And set me down off of that hand railing down to the floor. And I can't remember if I got a paddling for that or not. I probably did. I got several paddlings when I was in elementary school. That was just the way of the force back then. But those were some of the good times. Dodgeball by far. And sliding on the bleachers, not so much. But anyway, so back to the card show. We walk up, get in there, all the memories come rushing back, the smells, and I make a quick lap around the tables. There's probably 30 tables set up around the center and some across the outside as well. And I made one lap around, and shockingly, there was hardly any sports cards there. I would say 10%. 90% of it was Pokemon gaming cards. And I dug around and end up finding a few things that I want to share with you all. So that's my stories. That's my memories from the school. So let's flip this around and talk about my pickups from that day. So like I said, the first thing I did was walk around the outside, around the tables, just to see what was there, kind of scope everything out. It was a small show. It didn't take me long to figure out there wasn't a whole lot of baseball cards there. But I made it all the way around the big horseshoe and got to the very end on the other side of the gym. And there was a younger boy there. I would say he was probably 8 or 9 years old. And I could tell that was his cards he had set up there. So I started browsing around to see what he had and ended up picking these packs up. He had them for like 50 cents a piece. And I really didn't want them, the 90 Fleer, 92 Stadium Club Series 1, and the 90 Donruss. And I really have no need for them, but I was like, man, I got to get something off this kid. And I told him, I was like, well, hey, I'll take 10 of your packs. I ended up getting 4 other the Stadium Club. So I was like, I'll take 10 of your packs. And I got him there and handed him the $5, and he looked back over his shoulder. I didn't notice it, but his dad was setting up into the bleachers. And the kid just had a big smile on his face, and the dad kind of had a smile. He just kind of looked at me and nodded his head like, thank you. But I think that was that first sale of the morning for that boy. Man, that tickled me to death that I could help that kid out. And you could tell he was excited, man. And hopefully that made his day. Hopefully he did really well to fund his collecting hobby. And man, that's what it is all about. It just to see the look on that kid's face and the joy that just that simple, little $5 gesture of me buying his packs, and that really tickled me to death. If I didn't pick up another card, that was the highlight of my baseball card show that day. So finally, I found a couple tables that had some baseball cards, and started digging around. He had some like dollar boxes. Ended up picking up this 1988 retro. This is from 22 Donruss of the Melville Meteor, Mike Trout there. This, in hindsight, 88 is definitely probably my second least favorite junk wax era sets. The number one being the 91 Fleer Yellow. I don't know. I don't like them. But anyway, it's the 88 Retro Donruss of Mike Trout. I found a 95 Topps Stadium Club of Mr. Barry Bonds. Nice looking card. There's the back of it. This is the virtual reality. He's got that arm brace on his right arm and wearing that warm-up jacket that became so popular in the 70s. Still hanging on to him. Thing looks like it would sweat you to death. I got a 22 Mr. Joey Votto Inception. I've got a pretty extensive Joey Votto collection, and I did not have this card. Of course, he retired last year. I looked up to see what he was doing. He is just traveling, visiting family, and he's currently enrolled at Arizona State, majoring in Spanish. Says one day he'd like to be back in baseball, possibly coaching or in a media role. That's the 22 Topps Inception, Joey Votto. Got a couple Aaron Judge cards here. The 20 Heritage. Nice looking 71-ish card, Judge. Then got a 21 Topps Chrome. Dollar cards. Of course, this is made to look like the 86, 35th anniversary there. Nice looking Yankees card. I found this for $2 in a box. This is Aaron Savali's rookie card, acetate auto, when he was with Cleveland. I'll show you the back. It's just a reverse of the front. Of course, he's now with the White Sox. Not doing real well. It's 3-8 on a pretty bad team. He's not getting any run support, and the White Sox look like they're going to have 100 losses this season. They're last in the American League Central. But so I thought that for $2, Aaron Savali auto, I'll take it. And then this brings me to some of the Ty Cobbs that I've picked up recently. I got this one at the show, the 22 Diamond King. And that brings me to a few cards that I picked up of him. And what really got me interested in it, I shared a video a couple months back is about Ty Cobb. And I had a couple guys message me and tell me, hey, man, you need to pick up this book. It's called A Terrible Beauty by Charlie Learson. And it really squashes a lot of the rumors that has perpetuated Ty Cobb over the years. Rumors like him being a racist and a dirty player and even a murderer. You know, his biography that was written while he was still alive, which he, by the way, protested, and it talks about it in this book. He protested it being published because he didn't agree with a lot of it. It was just a bunch of falsities. But after he passed away, they printed it anyway. And just to sell copies, man, it really embellished some of the stories of Cobb being a racist, and even to the point of actually killing somebody on the streets. And this book has done a lot of research, and it proves a lot of that stuff is just false. Now, did he come in hard? Was he a hard-nosed player? Yes, he was. But some of the stuff that I have believed of Cobb in the past, I don't believe anymore because of this book. It's a really good book, so check it out, pick it up. I got this off eBay for like $4 or $5. It was really cheap, and man, it's a really eye-opener for Ty Cobb. So these next four cards that I just had previously, I just wanted to share them with you because I picked these up because of the book. The 75 Ty Cobb Sporting News All-Time All-Stars of Cobb. They got a 2010. Man, I love this shot. That's a cool image of Cobb. There's a back made to look like the 75s. They got a 22 Stadium Club. You can see there just how hard-nosed he plays, man. Dirt flying all over the place. You can see the grimace on his face. The fielder, his spikes dragging across the left shoulder of Cobb. That's just a beautiful, beautiful looking card. Another one that kind of showcases Cobb here is a 24 Stadium Club. You know, look at that uniform. Just don't make them like that anymore. And I just wonder if all that dirt is from the same day or from a different game and different day. Just look at that old style hat. There's his famous hook slide. The book talks about his stealing and his theory behind stealing bags. Then I got this right here. This is a 21 Topps Heritage Roberto Clemente die cut. Thought that was pretty cool. Made it look like the 72s. Cool looking card. And I found this for like a couple bucks. Already got this. A 72 Joe Morgan with the Astros. Of course, this is his 71 year. In 72, he actually started playing with the Reds, but it's his last Houston Astros card. And then, not all the cards I picked up were baseball. I picked this up. I've been looking for this card and finally found one that kind of suited my fancy at the right price. The Bo Jackson rookie, 88 Topps. And ended up picking that up. That is on the magnetic. Didn't have one of those. That's my only football pickup in, gosh, I don't know, a long time. And then last but not least, this is the last purchase I made of the day, was a 78 Landsman Mickey Mantle. I thought this was so cool. I was going to pass on it. It was like $25 or something like that. But I went by the table again and something caught my eye. I finally picked it up, flipped it over. Of course, it says it on the front. Check it out. It's a 7 of hearts. How cool is that? That's the perfect playing card for a Mantle fan. Number 7, 7 of hearts. I love it. After I seen that, I had to get this. But that's my pickups for the show by my house. Hey, that's all I got, man. Thanks for tuning in. I am so glad you joined me. And take this as a lesson. Don't go sliding on any wooden bleachers, or you will be limping around all day long. That's for sure. Anyway, that's all I got, guys. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Hey, remember, collect what you love what you collect. Keep swinging for the fences and enjoy this hobby, because after all, it's just a hobby. And man, it's all right. Peace. Bye.